So, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. The good news is Dean of Doom has been renewed for a 3rd season. The bad news is you might have to wait for it as long as you did the follow-up to last year's Halloween episode. Kidding aside, let's shoot the elephant in the room right off the bat. Despite containing the same number of episodes as Season 1, Season 2 ran twice as long. In my defense, we did cover twice as many WADs, Season 2's runtime is 2 hours longer, and in my opinion, it's twice as good. I think the show really hit its stride during Hard Sequels Month and its most recent run in 2022. Reflecting back, I kind of regret doing some of my favorite WADs so early, notably Of Eternity, Alien Vendetta, and TNT Evolution. Also, I hope nobody finds out that I murdered and replaced the guy who narrated Episode 1. Did I just say that out loud?
I will say it's got some dumb secrets, and it's a little boring. Give it a B with a difficulty of D-.
Most watched episode of the show, and it feels like a totally different person made it. Anyway, before we get into the typical graduation shenanigans, I wanted to talk a little bit about goof-ups. Mine are the only eyes that look over episodes before they go out for public consumption, and they tend to get tired, crossed, and fallible during the 40 to 60 hours it takes to produce full-length episodes. Pushing these out in a timely manner makes my perfectionism and fatigue fight it out like rock'em sock'em robots. Usually perfectionism wins, but sometimes it doesn't. In Season 1, the most glaring blunder of the whole series can be observed in the first 7 episodes. My editing software defaults to a thing called smart resampling, which kicks in when you're working with footage that was captured at a variable frame rate, that is, not a solid 24, 30, or 60 FPS. What it does is blend individual frames together to match the project's FPS, resulting in a blurry mush when rendered. It's less conspicuous when you're watching on a phone, but on a large enough screen, it looks terrible. You can all thank General Roasterock for pointing out that he felt drunk watching the Sigil episode. His observation was both humbling to me as a longtime video editor and perfectly timed for Ancient Aliens, which is the oldest episode I'm still proud of. Well, mostly.
This map gets a B- with a difficulty of D+.
Huh?
Grade C+, difficulty C+.
What?
Grade C-, difficulty C+.
Okay, come on. In Season 1, I also messed up the name of Plutonia Map 15, used the wrong music for Vanguard Map 8.
Map 8, Cratastrophe.
Mispronounced Doomworld moderator Linguisa's name, and threw unnecessary shade at him to boot.
Linguica doesn't seem to respect the player much, and you know what? I don't respect him much either.
Over a year later, consider me thoroughly chastened. I do respect you, Linguisa, and I hope the feeling is mutual. In Season 2, I left the HUD in the corner of my fancy new title sequence for a few episodes, attributed Icarus Map 21 to Engine Core instead of Dean Johnson, said Molten Destruction instead of Molten Desolation in the Halloween special, Molten Destruction is, made 10,000 French pronunciation mistakes in Trois Heures d'Agonie,
Serena, Revian Tame, Caton, Satan, Setape, Hambone,
and typoed Augur Zenith's class president map number. Embarrassing. I think one of Dean of Doom's main selling points is that I don't presume expertise at assessing Doom maps, but I do claim to be a professional grade video editor, so I guess I'm trying to illustrate just how inexact the science behind this show is. I really hate it when people on YouTube assume authoritative postures without justification, so allow me to be an antidote to that. Dean of Doom is what I think, not what is. Anyway, to wrap up my rambling, if you're watching this, I think it's safe to say you enjoy my show, so thanks for being here. You, the viewer, make every bad pun, every long recording session, every battle with writer's block, every death by 80 damage Revenant missile worth it. I hope you enjoyed today's presentation. Let's open the gradebook and get started. This season I gave out 170 A's, 231 B's, 96 C's, 65 D's, and 16 F's. I only noticed this when crunching the numbers for graduation, but this season's distribution is freakishly similar to last year's. I may be lenient, but I'm damn consistent. Compared to last season, I found fewer maps that needed regrades. In fact, there are some that I kinda wish I could fail retroactively, but as I said last year, that would be cruel and unusual. You can rest easy, Afterlife from CC1, Beyond the Sea, Dis 2000, Island of Death, and Veal Psalm. The first map to get a boost is Black Gold by DFF from Rowdy Rudy 2. It goes from a D to a C+. Having become more acquainted with DFF's work through Interception 2, I've come to regard him as one of the better mappers working in Doom modding today. Black Gold is still too dark, and if you don't find the BFG, you probably will have as lousy a time as I described in the Rowdy Rudy episode, but if you know what you're doing, Black Gold becomes a lot more fun after the first fight. It's competent, concise, and certainly not D-worthy. Chlorophyll by Datacore from Trois Heures d'Agonie 3 goes from a B+ to an A-. I feel that I owe Datacore at least one A, given all the maps he contributed to the Trois Heures trilogy, and I determined that 3HA3's 17th map was most deserving of a bump, with its combination of lean combat and good looks. Doom City by Seamus Young goes from a C+ to a B-. As soon as the C left my proverbial pen, it felt wrong. I included Doom City and sawed-off wads exclusively for its historical significance, and I don't think that factored into my grade enough. I'm hopping it up a mark on behalf of all the players out there who would rate it higher on memorability than I would. I covered the map for their enjoyment after all. The Forgotten Land by J.C. Dorn from Tangerine Nightmare goes from an A to an A+. I was this close to pulling the trigger on the Forgotten Land's A+ back in October, you can probably tell from my tone in the video, but I backed out at the last minute because I didn't want Goetia to have to share the limelight. The Forgotten Land made J.C. Dorn one of my new favorite mappers. It's truly exhilarating, with masterfully paced quiet stretches between fights that build tension and allow Tristan Clark's MIDI to shine. I still think Goetia is better, but in my book they're both classics. Forgotten Reaches by Doomkid from THT Threnody goes from a C to a B. Probably the most misunderstood map of the season, Forgotten Reaches is an homage to Team TNT at its most ominous. Doomkid nails the impression with his weird layout, unconventional progression, wonky, hostile, and non-pistol start-friendly enemy placement, and high secret count. It's still probably too tough for a map 9, but upon replay I found myself appreciating it much more as a time capsule than as an ordinary map from 2015. Haunting Dreams by Eric Alm from Scythe 2 goes from an A to an A+. Haunting Dreams is the greatest map 30 ever. Fight me. I'm deaf to complaints of BFG spam. This map is wild, brutal, perfectly scored, and incredibly climactic. Revisiting sites from the first 5 episodes was a stroke of genius, and the waves of monsters are exactly as hyperbolic as they ought to be. I only wish the Aphrit wave could have been second to last to the Archvile wave, which is still one of the most dramatic Doom moments ever. Here's the thing, despite it being the new highest rated map in the Megawad, I'm going to let Gaia's Temple, Death, and Afterlife keep their valedictorian and salutatorian mantles, because Haunting Dreams A+ compares directly to other map 30s. Its placement in the map's ordering matters too much for me to put it at the top of Scythe 2's class. Pandemonium by Frank Frag from Tangerine Nightmare goes from an A- to an A. Not sure why I tacked a minus on there. I love Pandemonium for giving traditional Icon of Sin maps the finger, and its scale, theatrics, and utter carnage make it a phenomenal ending to one of my luckiest Doom finds of 2021. If TN.WAD Map 4 got an A, then Pandemonium deserves one too. Plutopia by Thomas Vandervelden from Plutonia 2 goes from a B- to a B. I'm giving this one a nudge because again, the minus feels kind of unnecessary. Plutopia is a welcome breather in Plut 2's final stretch, and Vandervelden's detailed hellish corruptions are impressive under vanilla constraints, especially compared to what his mates attempt. Last but not least, The Ruins of Kalnick by Joshi from Speed of Doom goes from a B- to an A-. By the end of recording for Speed of Doom, I was exhausted, and I let that factor into the final grade too much. There's not enough ammo to go as whole hog as I would like to here, but The Ruins of Kalnick has a host of explosive and death-defying moments that Joshi has only gotten better at crafting. I highly encourage playing Resurgence and then coming back to this map. It's like taking the weights off your ankles. That does it for Season 2 regrades, but I want to make 2 more formal adjustments to last season's final grades. The flawed but deeply inspired Equinox by BPRD is getting moved up to a B-, and Eric Alm's Scythe likewise earns a hike to B-. Both WADs deserve more love than I gave them in their episodes, so please keep this asterisk in mind if you go back and rewatch them. Now to the difficulty side of things. This season I gave 17 E's, 82 D's, 129 C's, 202 B's, 112 A's, and 33 X's for difficulty. I can safely say I fulfilled my promise to play tougher WADs this season. X grades appeared 3 times as often, with the number of A's growing and D's shrinking noticeably. This season's difficulty index was almost a full mark higher than last season, rising from a C+ average to a B-. This season I finally stopped coming up with novel ways of saying I'm bad at Doom in the intro because I've definitely gotten better, to the point where I cringe at several of Season 1's final difficulty grades. Just so it's on the record, Ev Eternity is not an A-, it's a B+. Alien Vendetta is not an A+, it's an A-, and I strangely underrated Ancient Aliens. That's a B+, not a B. You may haggle with me about others, but right now, those are the only ones I see as major outliers. Okay, that's it for the grades. Now it's time to honor this season's most distinguished levels and their makers. The following 17 maps received grades of A+, and are hereby enshrined in the Dean of Doom Hall of Fame. In alphabetical order, 101, 001, 1010 by Darkwave from Speed of Doom. Alpha Scorpii Monument by Antares 031 from Struggle Antaregian Legacy. The Cursed Asylum by Sin City 2100 from Good Morning Phobos. Dreamscape by Darkwave from Speed of Doom, Druidia Borealis Sanctum by Antares 031 from Struggle Antarean Legacy, The Farmlands by Jaska from Lost Civilization, Fomalhaut by Mechadon from THT Threnody, The Forgotten Land by JC Dorn from Tangerine Nightmare, Get Shafted by Skillsaw from Heartland, Goetia by Rufy from Tangerine Nightmare, Grove by BPRD, Gutter Grave by Darkwave from Troisième d'Agonie 2, Haunting Dreams by Eric Alm from Scythe 2, River Valley by Jaska from Lost Civilization, Sledge by Darkwave from Speed of Doom, Subway Sandwich by Skillsaw from Heartland, and Surreptitious Ichor by Dobugabumaru and Cannonball from Nova 2 New Dawn. Congratulations to these outstanding maps and their authors. Now this season, I also wanted to bring 13 Doom community members into the Dean of Doom Hall of Fame. id Software guys are excluded because they're in a league of their own, so here goes. I hereby induct BPRD for his impactful MIDIs, incalculable imagination, deep community influence, and his indelible masterpieces, Grove and the Mucus Flow. Syriac Moldy Harris for his Megawad Going Down, which displays legendary creativity with stock textures, atmosphere, and combat. They broke the mold. Darkwave for his virtuosic command of epic-scale combat and effortlessly gorgeous slime bases, technoscapes, and hellish plains. Darkwave is one of the most exciting mappers of all time. Daryl Steffen, aka Dobu Gabumaru, for his limitless versatility and innovation. Puzzle master and mid-text wizard Dobu Gabumaru seems incapable of making anything forgettable. Drake O'Brien for being arguably the most important mapper in my Doom journey. Without the cinematic central processing and the mighty Mount Pain, Dean of Doom would not exist. Thanks, Drake. Eric Alm for his pioneering work in Scythe and Scythe 2, which made him the de facto grandfather of the modern Megawad. Alm is a combat master craftsman, a gifted visual designer, and a whiz at picking midis for his maps. Yako Jaska Impola for his stunning Megawad Lost Civilization, which is a technical marvel, a welcome retreat, and a transporting adventure experience. I've never seen its equal. James Paddock for his boundless supply of hit midis spanning every possible genre, and for his infectious passion for the game. His is the soundtrack of a joyful Doom that I never would have known if I didn't join this community. Thank you, Jimmy. Kim Andre Malda for his two masterpieces Toxic Touch and Misery Halak, which spirited us away to worlds we never imagined Doom could create. Paul Skillsaw De Bruyne for personifying fun in Doom mapping through jubilant, explosive action, whimsical visuals, and intrepid adventures, seasoning it all with a healthy dose of puns to keep us from taking ourselves too seriously. Skillsaw helped me find a forever friend in this game, and I'll always be grateful to him. Sungbei Park, aka Antares 031, for his staggering attention to detail, architectural flourishes both intimate and grandiose, affinity for rip-roaring action, and bottomless enthusiasm. Antares is a model for work ethic that matches ambition. The incomparable Stuart Stewboy Ryn, for giving each and every map he works on a soul made of music. He's a bringer of light into dark places, a brilliant mind, and a constant source of inspiration for players and creators of all kinds. Thank you for all you do, Stu. And last but not least, Ty Halderman, for his leadership of Team TNT, maintenance of the id Games archive, contributions to the Boom source port, and for the spark he brought to TNT Evolution and Icarus Alien Vanguard. Wormhole was the first Doom map to ever frighten me, and I'll never forget it as long as I live. Now, on to the most unfortunate part of today's ceremony, in which we send the lowliest of the dunces home to their disappointed parents, whose names will be omitted for privacy's sake. The following maps will not be walking with their classmates today. Cesspool from Memento Mori, Chambre des Supplices from Troisième d'Agonie, Fortress of Evil from Icarus Alien Vanguard, Going Down from Community Chest, Great Balls of Fire from Icarus Alien Vanguard, The Inmost Dens 3 from Hell Revealed 2, Kinetics from Memento Mori, The Siege 2 from Hell Revealed 2, and from Lunar Eclipse, Sapphire Slaughter, Eye of the Beholder, Pin Art, The Pain Zone, The Corridor, The Final Tech Base, and Escaped. Whew. Citadel at the Edge of Eternity from Community Chest rejected my F, went off and started its own Doom school in hell itself. Good luck and Satan's speed. You guys wanted suffering and you got it in Season 2. There were barely enough X's to cobble together a top 10 list of hardest maps from Season 1, but this year I had to boot 3 maps from Hell Revealed 2, 3 maps from Plutonia 2, and 4 maps from Scythe 2 off the list to make room for the horrors that follow. Here are the 10 hardest maps of Dean of Doom Season 2. Number 10, Der Neveu by Darkwave from Troisième d'Agonie. Number 9, Whispering Winds by Eric Alm from Scythe 2. Number 8, Poison Ivy 2 by Josh Seeley from Speed of Doom. Number 7, Beyond the Sea by Andy Oliveira from Hell Revealed 2. Number 6, The Inmost Dens 3 by Sam Woodman and Andy Oliveira from Hell Revealed 2. Number 5, Afterlife 2 by Eric Alm from Scythe 2. Number 4, Umbreon Nils by William Huber from Tangerine Nightmare. Number 3, Revenge of Demon House by Ribix from Wormwood. Number 2, Disturbia by Death Destiny. And number 1, Citadel at the Edge of Eternity by Magical from Community Chest. Watching the maps pile up in my grading spreadsheet during this show's run has been a thrill to the nerd in me. We're well over 1,000 levels now, so my list of factoids has expanded. The cumulative highest GPA by map slot is map 26 with a 3.19. Second place is map 32 at 2.91, with map 15s and 19s close behind at 2.90. The cumulative lowest GPA by map slot is still map 30 with a 2.28, but it's not as far in the lead as it once was. The second lowest is now map 9 with a 2.34, followed by map 12 with a 2.39, whose Doom corollaries are the Pit and the Factory. Somehow not surprising. The slot with the highest difficulty index is map 29 with a 3.49, no doubt helped by this year's hard sequels and Darkwave's French submissions. The slot with the most A+ across both seasons is map 6, most of which came this season with Get Shafted, Dreamscape, and Forgotten Land. Scythe 2 and Struggle made valiant efforts to capture the record for most A's in a single wad, both with 17, but fell one short of, you guessed it. Very much a map set full of base hits, Nova 2 stole the record for most B's from going down with 18. Hell Revealed 2 and Community Chest tied the record for C's with 10 apiece, and Hell Revealed 2 ran away with the record for most D or lower maps with 13, but Lunar Eclipse set the bar very, very low with a record 7 Fs. We'll make that the unofficial record, since it competes in the minors compared to the rest of the maps I cover on this show. The actual record is still 3 Fs, shared by Hell Revealed, Community Chest 2, and the Master levels. Get your bingo cards ready for next season. These are the only map numbers that have not yet been crowned valedictorian. For bonus points, map 11 and 21 have seen neither a valedictorian nor a salutatorian. Sad. Something else to look for next season. So far, only 4 maps have been named both valedictorian and class president. Map 28s are barely beating out map 29s, 6-5 in terms of class president wins, with map 23s right behind with 4. I've been democratic with the dunce cap. Almost every level number has gotten one. If you are a map 12, you're actually more likely to get dunced than a map 30. Across 2 seasons of Dean of Doom, I've featured 112 MIDIs. Unsurprisingly, the most featured composer is Stuart Rinn, with 19 mentions, followed by Jimmy Paddock with 11. After that, there's Megasphere with 7, Jeremy Doyle and Lee Jackson tied with 5, and Essel Forsham, Bucket, Tristan Clark, and BPRD tied with 4. Hopefully, next season adds even more variety to the list. Finally, this season's final fake wall count is 27, but I'm sure there are a whole lot more on the cutting room floor. Now for senior superlatives. Most artistic, Lost Civilization. Most dramatic, Scythe 2. Computer whiz, given to the season's most tech-savvy wad, is Augur Zenith. Most athletic, a new award given to the wad that tests Doom Guy's physical fitness the most, goes to Speed of Doom. Most musically talented, 2021's Community MIDI packs, namely No Rest for the Living, the Master levels, and Mid the Way Id Did. Most likely to succeed, Struggle and Teresian Legacy. With the effort Antares put into this, he can succeed at anything. Most likely to brighten your day, again goes to Skillsaw, Heartland. Best Doom Spirit, given to the best embodiment of Doom pride and reverence for mapping, Nova 2 New Dawn. Newcomers here gave me a great shot of love for the game when I needed it. Best dressed? Tangerine Nightmare. How could I not give the Bookworm Award to THT Threnody Map 19 Big Freaking Guardians? Cutest couple goes to Rowdy Rudy and Rowdy Rudy 2 Power Couple. Class Clown, of course, goes to Mach 2 The Speed of Stupid. And the most improved mapper of the year is Gene Bird. Congrats, Gene. We're nearly done now, but before we wrap up, I want to discuss two important matters. The first is next season. Here's the thing. One of the great truisms in movies and TV is you either die a hero or live long enough to watch yourself become the villain. Think Breaking Bad versus Dexter. Basically, I have no intention of stringing this show along until you and I agree that it's a shadow of its former glory. I originally envisioned Dean of Doom running for about 50 episodes and calling it quits, but lately I've been having fun with it, and there's a ton of material I still really want to cover, so I can promise at least 15 to 20 episodes next season. But I'm not kidding around, guys. Sunlust will be the last episode of Dean of Doom. Sort of. If there's going to be a Season 4, you won't see Sunlust in Season 3. If Season 3 ends with Sunlust, then I will continue Dean of Doom as a side project, releasing one-off episodes when I ardently want to cover something but dispensing with the season format to preserve the dignity of the show. Which leads me to item number 2. I've started another channel, which will be the home of the Mount Pain Project, an artistic venture devoted to music, film, and writing. This is the only time I'm going to do this, so please hear me out. On the new channel lives a movie called A Better World. It's a feature-length film I made with my brother in 2019, and I need your help to finish it. A Better World is full of copyrighted music that needs replacing, and I can't think of anywhere better than the Doom community to look for talented composers. This is an open call for music. I need original tracks that can substitute for the atmosphere evoked by the placeholders. If you could join me in this venture, it would mean everything to me. If you want to get in touch, please reach out to the email on screen. Okay, I think that's all my bases covered. We better hurry or we're going to be late for graduation. Without further ado, I give you Dean of Doom, Class of Season 2. Trois heures d'agonie, un, deux, and trois. Augur Zenith. Chord 1, 2, NG, G, and 3. Community Chest. Disturbia. Doom City. Frozen Time. Ghoul's Forest 1 to 3. The Given. Good Morning Phobos. Grove. Heartland. Hell Revealed 2, Icarus Alien Vanguard, Lilith.pk3, Lost Civilization, Lunar Eclipse, Memento Mori, Mach 2 The Speed of Stupid, No Rest for the Living, Nova 2, Nuts, Nuts 3, Phobos Mission Control, Plutonia 2, Rowdy Rudy's Revenge, Rowdy Rudy 2 Power Trip, Scythe 2, Speed of Doom, Struggle Antaresion Legacy, Tangerine Nightmare, Tech Gone Bad, THT Threnody, Void, Water Spirit, and Wormwood. Thank you all very much for watching. Look for Season 3 sometime in the summer months, and while you wait, please feel free to send me recommendations, and remember to keep spreading the joy of Doom. As usual, I'll heart your comments to let you know I've read them. Before I go, I want to thank my partner in crime, DCG Retrowave, for making this season's MIDI lineup sound better than ever. He produced high-quality SC55 versions of every MIDI for every episode. If you're a MIDI or Pain Elemental enthusiast, give his channel a look. You won't be disappointed. This is Mount Pain 27, and I'll see you next time on Dean of Doom.